My name's Sam, and I'm one of the Foundation Year 2 doctors in Birmingham. First of all, I'd like to thank Karen Lobracini for inviting me to make this video. It follows a talk I gave a couple of years ago, so I hope you find it useful. Like many of you watching this, I repeated a year in medical school, and if just in the last couple of months you received this news, then I imagine it's still going to feel pretty raw. And I remember that feeling, the anger, the disappointment, the embarrassment, and that sense of powerlessness. In my case, those feelings did get better. I'll be honest that they never really completely went, but what you can do, what I was guided to do, was to turn them into something useful, into something like a driving force that will make you ultimately into a better doctor. Touching back on that sense of powerlessness, when I was at my lowest, someone told me that this feeling is like a cage you're locking yourself into. You can let though this year define you or refine you, and it can refine you into something truly great. A doctor better than one you thought you could be. It's your choice. Here, though, are some practical pointers that I found helpful. Number one, I don't know about you, but I must have heard 100+ times that the people that go to placement do better come exam season. And I personally would modify this into the people that are productive at placement do better come exam season. The amount of people, myself included, that I saw just standing around on placement or doing basic admin work was crazy. You think you're getting up early, you're getting dressed, having breakfast, getting to the local hospital super early in the morning. You've already done the hard work, so you may as well make it useful while you're there. Get a list beforehand of all the workplace-based assessments you need to get done. Things like, for example, DOPS, mini-KEXs, CBDs, and try and power through them as early as possible. Because the earlier you get them done, that's one less job on your back and more time you can actually spend focusing on practicing useful things and getting ready for exams. Number two, leading from point one, hunt out the registrars and consultants early. They're very busy people, but if you ask them early enough, maybe you could arrange a time for them to watch you examine a patient or two. Yes, it's true, they will never do the exams in the way you need for OSCE, but what they can and often will do is identify errors in your technique and help you to improve, making you more succinct in your exams. And for an added bonus, they are the examiners that you will have in your actual OSCEs. So it's good to know what kind of things impress them. Maybe there's a kind of stylistic point in your exams that you're doing that they would do differently and that they think looks more professional. Either way, learn from them, see what they like, and adjust that into your routine accordingly. Number three, you're going to be doing clinical skills prep all throughout the year, but I would advise you to get practicing it with your friends as early as possible, from week one if possible. Get a small group together and maybe bash out one history, one exam a week. Don't overload yourself and try not to get distracted. If you're not getting any work done at your practice sessions, it does sort of suggest that maybe you need to be practicing with different people. I noticed this, and instead of dumping my friends for new people, we all sat down and we said, look, how about if we really knuckle down these sessions, we get the work done, but then afterwards maybe we can go for a coffee or to the pub or whatever you do for fun. Either way, try and keep your sessions A, focused, don't overwhelm yourselves, and B, stay on target because you can have fun after your session's finished. Number four, probably the most important point, in fact, find out why you weren't able to progress. Was it a particular area of the exam that you weren't great on, like gastroenterology, for example? Was it that you just didn't have a great day in one of the OSCEs? Read through your feedback really carefully. It will show you exact subject areas that you need to improve upon, and you can target your revision then instead of going through everything again. You can be more focused and that magic word, succinct. Number five, I would advise you to get a hobby. It's a long year, and you won't need to spend as much time as other people going back, making all your notes again, and starting from square one. Because the beauty is, you're not starting from square one. So whether you want to get a little part-time job, maybe in a cafe or a pub, or you want to just take up a sport, or in my case, do some work doing something fun, like I volunteered at my local church. Shout out HTB. Either way, it's just a way to balance you and It puts a bit more weight onto that life side of the work-life balance equation. You need to have that balance because otherwise you're just going to burn out way too fast. And this repeating a year is like a marathon, not a sprint. 6, I would say that there's always help if you need it. For all of you at St. George's, Karen has my email. I'd be more than happy for her to give it to you and get in touch, and I'll try to help as much as I can. Lean on your entire support system, family, friends, and most importantly, one another. You're surrounded by people probably who are also repeating the year and also have the same kind of insights that you do. What more perfect group of people to practice with than the other people that are needing to redo the year because you all have similar experiences. Maybe you do a bit more of a critical eye towards things, which is useful, and you can really learn from one another. I would also say similarly, in the communication skills sessions or the clinical skills sessions, they're always asking who wants to volunteer. And if you're like me the first time around, and most people, you're there hands down watching that awkward silence. No, second time round, I was always there, hand up straight away. Why? Because the people that are running these sessions are the people that will actually be examining you come the OSCE time. Don't you want to learn what impresses the people that will be examining you? Just like with the consultant I mentioned earlier, learn from the people that it matters to learn from. Listen, if you're in medical school, I already know that you're not a quitter. Some of you have probably had to fight every single day of your lives to get here. So don't stop now. The situation you're in, it sucks, there's no denying it. But if you really want this, then you have to reach down deep and remember that you're a fighter. The champions don't quit, and that in the grand scale of your life, this is nothing more than a speed bump, a learning experience. When I gave the original talk, I gave the example of perhaps mankind's greatest achievement, putting man on the moon. Everyone knows the image, the words emblazoned into our minds. But what about the millions of components of the Saturn V rocket that took us there? The thousands of hours and hundreds of failed prototypes it took. No one remembers any of that. And it's the same for you. I choose to remember my pain, my disappointment, in the hopes that there's some lesson that I can discern from it to give to you to stop you from making the same mistakes I did and to have the best repeating year that you can. But in reality, it's affected my life in 0 ways, and I've been asked about it 0 times since graduating medical school. Many great, great doctors have faced setbacks in their journeys. Take this year one day at a time. Keep sight of your goal and look after one another. Don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of your joy. Compare yourself to where you were last year, a month ago, a week ago, maybe even yesterday. Steady improvements will yield results. I promise you that. In closing, I'll give you one of my favorite quotes by the author Christian Larson, who said, "Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there's something inside you greater than any obstacle. And hey, if you're not able to do that, then I'll believe in you because I was you and I know other people like you. I did it, they did it, and I know deep down that you can do it as well. So get up and let's get this thing."